Gaelic football and hurling are renowned the world over as sports that demand the very best from the individual player. Success in any sport, and particularly in Gaelic games, is dependent on three fundamental factors: your knowledge, your preparation, and your persistence. The purpose of this programme is to help raise the level of your game, to improve your performance.
Up towards Neil McCarthy, and they yet get the chance, and it's with DJ Carey racing through, and he's seen it for them. Still DJ Carey kicking, he's got it all!
The skills involved in Gaelic games are many and varied. To improve your performance, you must practice these skills and practice them correctly.
I think I'm a lot different to most Gaelic players and hurling players at the moment, in that I didn't play any competition until I was about 15, until I went to secondary school. I didn't play any organised competition, or I didn't play for any club team. And mostly any practice I did was on my own against a wall, and I would still say that that was the biggest factor in me learning the skills of hurling. I was just, every afternoon I just banged the ball against the wall, and I learned the skills that way, really.
It's vital to practice. I mean, there will be sessions set up for you maybe on a Tuesday and a Thursday and a Saturday, but I think it's also vitally important for a person who wants to improve their football or hurling to practice by themselves, or practice in groups of fellas. Even just to get a ball and kick it off a wall and catch it and practice your skills. I think that's vitally important. I think the person who's going to become a good footballer is the person who's prepared to go and do some extra work himself.
More than anything else, skill is a behaviour. It is an ability that must be learned. That means it must be practiced over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. The skillful player can perform a task or a skill within the game situation with the maximum certainty. In other words, he can cut down the gap between what he achieves and what he set out to achieve in the first place. The skillful player can catch or kick the football. He can pick it up, carry and strike the sliotar, tackle, make himself available for a pass, score, support teammates, gain possession, far more frequently than the unskilled player. The player who hasn't practiced these skills may be successful sometimes, but it's only by chance. It's only a fluke. Your ability to perform the skill will break down unless you have practiced the skills correctly on a regular basis. It isn't always easy to see how the skills drills fit into or are appropriate to the game situation. Nevertheless, the great players realise that talent doesn't develop by accident, and that excellence on the football and hurling field doesn't occur by chance.
I think you need basically to be shown the skills first of all by somebody, and then you need to go and practice them as often as you can. And obviously your coach and your trainer are going to be the people that are going to be able to impart the skills to the kids, and to go off and practice them then is even more important. It's no good just going to the school field once a week and practice them. I think you have to practice every day.
The Dublin team would train normally championship time Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Saturday mornings, and then you may have a club game on Sunday, or Dublin might have a training session on Sunday. You know, so it varies from 3 to 4 times a week. Obviously at this stage, like, you have jobs and it's a little bit harder for kids. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't practice, you know, 5, 6 days a week. All they really need is a wall and a football, and kick it up against the wall, practice catching it. 2 guys can practice on their own. You know, it's very easy.
You must do it 100%. There's no use going out and putting only 60 or 70% in, because it will tell on the pitch at a later stage. Like, you see the lads who put in only half work at training, like, they'll only last half a game. It's the lads who put it in, and sometimes they don't enjoy the training, but they'll put it in and they'll go through it, and they're the lads that'll pull out in the end.
The great players practice their skills properly. The saying, practice makes perfect, is only partly correct. It's really perfect practice that makes perfect. Learning is a slow business. Patience and perseverance are needed if you are to improve. The great players know this, and they have gone down that road. They know that only perfect practice makes perfect. When you are learning a specific skill for the first time, you should practice it slowly, at a pace that suits your standard. A one-on-one situation with your friend, where you are unopposed and stationary, is an ideal starting routine. Gradually develop the speed and the accuracy until you feel confident. The next step might be to play a small game, like Piggy in the Middle. Now, not only have you to pass, but you have a choice of partners to pass to. You've got to pass quickly, or the piggy will dispossess you. You have to move to receive a return pass, and you have to support your partner. These are qualities which will help you in the game situation.
Will give down the necessary injection. It's through in the clear. The shot. And the goal. Second goal for Peter Upton. Surely inspired by that last point by Mickey London. They're coming out.
There are aspects of your lifestyle that you should concentrate on when you're away from your trainer. Factors like your diet, your attitude towards injuries, smoking. All of these will affect the way that you play.
Well, nowadays we realise that diet is a very important part of our lives, and in fact for sports people diet is even more important because they will not perform at their best if they don't have the correct diet. The correct diet for an athlete involves eating a balanced diet throughout the year. A balanced diet is a diet which involves eating a variety of foods in moderation. Now, for athletes, the main foods should come from carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. And these include things like bread, pasta, potatoes and cereals.
Well, muscle strength is something that sports people often think about, and the best way to achieve muscle strength is through regular training, exercise and a balanced diet. Now, this includes a moderate amount of protein in the diet every day. Protein foods are dairy products, meat, nuts, eggs, fish and poultry.
These foods, besides providing protein, also provide valuable minerals in the diet, and the two most important that we think about are calcium and iron. Now, lean red meat is a good example of a protein food that provides a mineral, and the mineral it provides is iron. We need iron for the correct formation of blood, and without an adequate amount of iron in your diet each day, the athlete can actually suffer from anemia, which will hinder his or her performance. Now, other foods that contain minerals would be your dairy products, and these contain a very important mineral called calcium. Calcium is necessary for the formation of strong bones, which obviously are very important to the athlete.
The body also needs a constant supply of vitamins each day, and that is to help the body regulate all its processes. The main supply of vitamins in the diet comes from fruit, such as apples, oranges, bananas, and from vegetables. Other supplies would include cereals, meat and milk.
There may be some athletes or players whose diets are in fact quite poor, and they may be recommended to take a vitamin supplement such as a vitamin C supplement. for players to take regular amounts of fluid during training, before training and during a match. And we need this fluid to help the body sweat properly, otherwise the body itself will overheat. Once the body starts to overheat or become dehydrated, it will actually hinder the performance, and the performance will go down very quickly. So what you need to do is drink small amounts of fluid, little and often.
In hurling, the biggest problem is head injuries, facial injuries, mouth injuries, and hand injuries, believe it or not. So the best way to prevent your head injuries is to wear your helmet.
When I started off, I got used to a helmet. I always wore a helmet from an early age, and I'd recommend young players to start off wearing a helmet. And if you can get used to a face guard as well.
I think a gum shield is very important because it's if you get a belt in the mouth, you know, it's very sore and it's very costly.
If you do get a finger injury or a ligamentous tear in your finger, you should always tape your two fingers together before you go out to hurl, and it makes a dramatic difference. In Gaelic football, the injuries tend to be different. They tend to be more hamstring strain, groin strain, and lower abdominal tears. The most annoying part about the groin strain is that it tends to be so recurring, and the hamstring. Both of those tend to be recurring injuries. And I think one of the reasons why they recur so much is because people don't do a proper rehabilitation program the first time they injure. People could prevent injury by, for instance, not arriving late to a training session. People arrive late to a training session, the session is already in progress and they're at a sprint stage, and the youngster just dives in and joins in, and you know, the body isn't warmed up enough. When you tear something, bleeding is going on. You not only tear the muscle fibres, but you also tear some blood vessels. The very first thing you should do is get ice on it. You must rest it, obviously. You must bandage it, you must elevate it. You take anti-inflammatories if there's a lot of swelling to reduce the inflammation as quickly as possible. And of course then you follow a professionally guided rehabilitation program. If somebody is limping with an injury, they should be seen professionally, either by a chartered physiotherapist who treats sports injuries or a doctor who treats sports injuries.
Brilliantly fetched by Martin Lynch. Inside from Berrigan. Dowling in a very advanced position. Hit with the left foot. Oh, comes off the crossbar! Very unlucky. Down to Charlotte Gilroy. Fits it, and it's touched over by John O'Leary. Well, so near it yet so far.
Smoking is definitely out. I've never smoked, nor anybody in the Tipperary team has never smoked. So really, if you want to get on and play well in hurling or achieve great things, then you just can't smoke.
I mean, if you smoke, you won't be successful, you won't be good, and just cut it out.
I don't smoke. I think smoking, especially to boys and girls at an early age, if you're going to smoke, forget about sport. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing, hurling or football or swimming, whatever sport it is. Smoking slows you down, so keep away from the cigarettes.
Your main objective as a player must be to reach your potential. Even if you're to be one of the few to become a star, it's still going to take you years to reach that goal. To play at your best, you must be prepared, both physically and mentally.
Physically, well, you go to bed early the night before, take it easy, get up, have your breakfast, maybe stroll around, get a bit of fresh air, do whatever you normally do. I mean, the thing is not to do anything out of the extraordinary, upset your routine. You get into the dressing room, you do a bit of stretching, stretch the legs, the calves, the arms, everything, and prepare yourself mentally for the game and concentrate what has to be done and what you're going out to do.
I think it's vital that youngsters get into the habit of doing their stretching exercise before they go out, because they're inclined to go out and just go out and play and not get into the habit of preparing correctly.
Stretching is very important on a number of fronts. Firstly, there's the physical side of it, where it will help you perform the skills of the game. It helps the body get ready to perform. And of course, in that way, it will help prevent or cut down your chance or your risk of injury. As well as that, the warm-up is the one opportunity you get before a big game to settle and to concentrate on your performance. Remember, when you're competing in a big match, the atmosphere is different from what you're used to. The dressing room is different, the very pitch. The one time you can concentrate on the task that you have in hand is when you do your warm-up. The warm-up that you have done in training over and over?
Well, I believe that your mental preparation starts long before the Sunday morning, and that in the build-up to the week, at various different times, you have to slowly build yourself up. Nothing major, maybe once or twice a day, just to think about what might happen and what might not happen. On the day, then, obviously, you're going to be more concerned with the build-up. It'll probably be in your mind the whole time. As regards nerves, some people revel in them and some people dislike them. I myself just like to let them take their course, and whatever happens, happens. I don't pay too much attention to nerves.
Yeah, I think nerves affect everybody. Obviously, it's not a bad thing, you know, if you're nervous before a game, because everybody is. So, you know, everybody has them, and they'll always be there. So you have to live with it as part of the game. But once you go out and hit the first ball, there's no problem after that.
Yeah, the hurl, especially the young boys and girls, there's no use getting a hurl that's going to come up to your chin. You know, you should start off with a stick that's just reasonably up to your hip, not too heavy. Some players in the winter play with a bit of a heavier stick because of the heavier ball. But a good fine stick, a good grain, once the grain is good in it, a good bend. You get a stick with a good bend, there's no use getting a stick that's rigid. Put a good grip on it, because all weathers the hurl slip out of your hand. And a little handy note is when you get a new stick, is that if you can get a ruler and put slight little marks in it with maybe a Stanley knife, get your father or mother to do it, because it stops the ball from skidding off the stick. So if you can just put the lines on that, like crisscross, that's a little secret.
I see footballers wearing their football boots far too big for them. They're loose and sloppy on them. I think they have this idea that they'll have more comfort if the boot is too big. I think it's the very opposite. Your football boot should be glove tight. You should be just about able to get into it, and it will support you in the right places if it's the right fit for you.
Representing your school, your club or your county is an honour. It carries with it a responsibility not only to play as well as you can, but also in a manner befitting the games and those whom you represent. The opposing players, the referee and officials all share in the love of the games, and they should be treated with respect by you. Such an approach develops an appreciation of others and also teaches you to accept with dignity their efforts and decisions.
Winning is important, it's very important, it's what everybody's out there for. But I wouldn't agree with winning at all costs. Someone has to win and someone has to lose, and you just have to try your best to win. You cannot get, or I couldn't get great satisfaction out of winning unless I won fairly.
Winning is a reward in itself, but I mean the most important thing is taking part. I mean, you can play with a club team and I never win a trophy, and the club team I play with, it wouldn't set the world alight, you know, in Dublin League or anything like that. And you know, okay, I've been lucky to play with Dublin and win an All-Ireland and be successful at other levels, but it's taking part. You know, it doesn't matter what you play some sport and just play purely for the enjoyment. If you get to a level of where success is important, well and good, but I mean, you know, you play to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think Tipperary have won and have lucky enough to win 2 All-Irelands in the past number of years, but we've also lost a lot of games, and I've been playing since 1982, and we didn't come out of Munster until 1987, but I think we enjoyed playing just as much then as we enjoy it today, even though obviously it's nicer to win, but I think you've got to realise that you can't win every day, and it's important just to play the game and enjoy it for playing the game.
Competition is important. Any player who participates in competition without trying to win is being dishonest to himself and to his team. It is in the stretching to reach new limits that we learn things about ourselves. It is in applying ourselves fully to the task at hand that we extend our range of abilities. And of course, it is the good performances in those conditions that inspire ourselves and others to get involved. But remember, while winning is important, striving to win is even more so.